Hi everybody! Today's lesson is entitled, Is There a Pattern Here? We're recognizing patterns and sequences today. So some of our goals today is to recognize and describe patterns, represent patterns as sequences, predict the next term in a sequence, and represent the sequence as a table of values. So a sequence is a pattern involving an ordered arrangement of numbers, geometric figures, letters, or other objects. An example of a sequence could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We also learned that a term in a sequence is an individual number, figure, or letter in the sequence. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is my first term, my second term, my third term, my fourth term, and my fifth term. Think of it kind of like a race. This is first place, second place, third place, fourth place, fifth place for this sequence. So let's look at an example with numbers. Here in this pattern, we have 8, 14, 20, and 26. This is our sequence. And just like in a race, this is our first term, this is my second term, this is my third term, and this is my fourth term. Super simple, right? Now there's two different types of sequences. A sequence that continues on forever is called an infinite sequence. And you can tell that it's an infinite sequence when you see 3 dots after the numbers. And the second type is a sequence that terminates, and that's going to be called a finite sequence. This example we have here is a finite sequence because after the number 26, there's no dots after that. Another example of that would be in your classroom. In your classroom, let's pretend that there's 30 desks. So how many students would be able to sit down in that classroom? 30 students. That's a finite sequence because we can't have an infinite amount of students in that classroom. They would be spilling out from everywhere, from the windows, from the door, from the roof, all over the place. And finally, the last thing that we're going to talk about here is how to represent a sequence as a table of values. So our example had the numbers 8, 14, 20, and 26, which is a finite sequence. So if we had to put those numbers into a table, we know that the number 8 represents the first term. And who came in second place? The 14. 20 would be our third place, and 26 would be our term value for the fourth term. So if you had to guess, what do you think the fifth term would be in this sequence? Well, if you look at the other numbers, what happened from 8 to 14, 14 to 20, 20 to 26? What do you think the fifth term will be? If you guessed 32, you're right. I think the pattern that's going on here is that they're adding 6 more every single time. So if they had a sixth term, I think that would be 38, don't you? So there you have it. We learned how to recognize and describe patterns, we represented patterns as sequences, we predicted the next term in a sequence and a couple more, and then we represented a sequence as a table of values. I hope this video helped you out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!